Let me show you how a delinquent tax sale works in South Carolina. South Carolina is a great state to be doing tax sales in, lots of opportunity there. And today I'm going to show you exactly how the tax deed sale works. And I'm also going to show you about a new business called Overages that's popping up that really can be great. And it's perfect for someone who's living and working in South Carolina. It's an opportunity not many people are taking advantage of, so make sure you don't miss out on that. So let's start with the tax sale. This tax sale is really a sort of hybrid tax deed sale. It's not exactly a tax deed sale. It's not exactly a tax lien sale. So let me explain. So when someone owns a property, meaning real estate in South Carolina, they have to pay taxes on it every year. If they fall a year behind in their taxes, then the tax collector is going to say, hey, you didn't pay your taxes. We're going to sell your property at a tax sale. If the person doesn't then catch up with the taxes plus penalties and interest, then that property is going to be offered at a public auction. And that's the opportunity for you to get involved. What's interesting is that while they hold the bidding and the high bidder wins, you don't get a deed to the property at that point in time. You get a right to get a deed in the future if the person doesn't pay off their taxes plus penalties and plus interest to you. So the way that it works is that for 1 year after that tax sale auction, for 1 year, the owner has the right to come in and pay the county the taxes that are owed, plus interest on whatever amount you bid. And the interest varies. If they pay anywhere from months 1 to 3, you're going to get 3% interest. If it's in months 4, 5, and 6, then you'll get 6% interest. Months 7, 8, 9, you get 9% interest. Months 10, 11, and 12, you get 12% interest, and that's on your bid. So if someone redeems the property immediately, which often they do, you could get a nice return of 3% right away. That's terrific. People usually don't wait till the last minute, but they do wait for a while. Now, most properties are redeemed, so this becomes an interest rate play. But for the ones that aren't redeemed, typically they sell really cheaply. And we're talking tens of thousands of dollars off of retail. Often they'll sell for 50, 60, maybe maximum 70% of retail value for your run-of-the-mill property. That's really good because if you're getting 30, 40, or 50% off, that is a really good deal. Now this is going to vary by county. The more popular counties will go for more and less popular counties will go for less. But whatever it is, you'll make some great deals. Most important thing for you to understand is that you need to do your careful due diligence before you ever put down any money at a tax sale in South Carolina. You need to make sure that that's a property that you would actually want to own if they don't redeem. Most of the time they do redeem, probably 95% of the time they do. But if they don't redeem, you want to make sure you get the property. The other thing is that if you don't check out the property, you don't know. It could be a terrible property that you don't even want. And they sell properties at tax sale that just aren't buildable. They're underwater, they're from surveyor's mistake, it's just a little strip of land. There are drainage ditches. There are all kinds of things. They don't give you any warranties or guarantees. So you need to make sure before you bid on a property at a sale that you go and drive by to make sure you'd actually be interested in that property. Typically, these sales are going to come out 30 to 45 days in advance of the sale, so there's plenty of time to go look at properties. But make sure that you do that because you don't want a lousy property where nobody's going to redeem it because it's not worth anything, and you don't even want it at the end because you have nothing you can do with it. So make sure before you just go bidding that you're checking out the properties. Also, make sure that you check with the county exactly what the rules are. When do they require payment? Generally, they're going to require payment the same day of the sale, and they want it by certified check or cash or money order. They don't take checks, they don't take credit cards, and you can't get a mortgage because you don't own the property at the end of that. So make sure that you're understanding what those rules are. Also, typically you have to register in advance of the sale. At most sales all across America these days, you cannot just walk in and participate in the sale. You have to register in advance and get approved to bid. Usually that approval process has to do with whether you're behind in other real estate taxes. They don't want tax deadbeats buying at tax sale and making the problem worse. So make sure that you're looking at that. When you go on the website where they advertise the properties that are being sold at the tax sale auction, you'll see conditions of sale. Make sure that you download the conditions of sale, read through them. There'll probably be an application there to apply to be a bidder. Make sure you do that and do it all in advance. It's common that these registrations close days before the sale actually happens. So make sure that you're checking out what the conditions of sale are and that you're getting at things early. The other thing is make sure that you know all the rules around tax sales in South Carolina if you're going to bid there. Just for example, during that 1-year right of redemption, you're not allowed to go on the property. You're not allowed to talk to the owners. You're not allowed to try to collect money from them. You just have to leave it alone. So even if the property has an open window, you're not even supposed to go and close it. Now, do I think most people will go and close it? Probably, but you're not supposed to, and you can create legal problems for yourself. So make sure that you know what the rules are and that you're obeying them, and understand basically for that year you can't do anything. Also, there are certain liens that survive the tax sale. A best example of a lien that survives the tax sale is an IRS lien. So if the IRS is owed money and they've recorded a lien at the county courthouse, then you're going to have to pay off the IRS or wait them out. Generally, it's better to wait them out. They have 10 years to collect on their lien. If 10 years go by, then they don't collect it. So make sure that you're aware of them. So if you have a property that you want to refinance or that you want to sell, if it's got an IRS lien, you're going to have to deal with it. So make sure that you're checking title on these properties before you buy them so that you know if there is anything out there. Now, checking title could be doing it yourself. Doesn't mean you're getting a full title report, but make sure you look at those issues and deal with them accordingly. The final big issue is for environmental hazards. You don't ever want to buy a commercial property at one of these tax sales, because if there's groundwater pollution, open barrels of chemicals, as the new owner, you're responsible for cleaning that stuff up. It doesn't matter that you didn't make the pollution, you didn't buy the chemicals. As the owner of the property, there's something called strict liability, which just says that if you own it, you're responsible to clean it up. IRS is a no-joke kind of agency, so make sure that you're not buying properties where they could have environmental contamination, which mainly would be old factories or warehouses or commercial use properties. I wouldn't buy those at tax sale. I think it's unwise. You're taking too much risk to do that. So stick to the houses and stick to places that if they don't redeem, meaning they don't pay your bid plus interest, that you would be happy getting the property. And make sure that you check out the properties in advance. The other thing that's available in South Carolina that's really cool that very, very few people are doing is something called overages. And that's where when the property sells for more than the taxes, which, let's face it, any property sale is going to sell for way more than a year's worth of taxes. When it sells for more than the taxes, then you can claim that money on behalf of the former owner and split it with them essentially. So typically we charge 30 or 40% for doing that. So we'll approach a homeowner and say, hey, there's some money that you're eligible to claim. We're not telling them where the money is. There's some money you're eligible to claim. And if you'd like to work with us, for a percentage, we'll go claim that money. And so when they say yes, we put in an application for the money. The county pays us out. We keep typically 30 to 40% of it, send them off the balance. They're thrilled because they got a big windfall they never expected. We're thrilled because we got a nice payday at a property we didn't even have to wait a year for. Because when you're doing this, you don't have to wait a year. When you're working on overages, you're going to get paid out in a couple months. So it's really great. You can do them all over the country. If you want to do them in South Carolina, there's something called the Family Privacy Protection Act that you have to contend with. I go over that in training that I do in this, so I'll just leave that for now, other than telling you, if you're going to do it, make sure you go through training and understand what the Family Privacy Protection Act is. Now, if you're interested in overages, I got a next step for you. Next step would be go and watch my Intro to the Overages business video. There I spend about 15 minutes teaching you the ins and outs of that business so that you can decide if it's a business for you. I offer advanced training in that business. It's a really good business. You're helping people, you're making great money, and you're making a big difference in the world. So go check it out. The video, there's a link up there. If you don't see the link up there, it just means your browser doesn't support it. Then just look down below. There's a link to the video there. Go check out Intro to the Overages business. You'll be happy that you did. And then meanwhile, congratulations on learning a few new things about tax sales in South Carolina. Truly a wonderful state. Love the state. Love to visit Charleston. Been there a couple times. And it's really a cool state, certainly on the upswing. Great place to live and a great place to invest. So good luck. I'll see you over in the Intro to the Overages video.